Yes, please record.
All right. Welcome everybody. Good afternoon. Hold on. I'm going to mute some people because I can't hear myself. Let's see.
That's what I got. Okay.
I think that was Lisa adding you. Okay. Anyways, welcome to our last session of Spring Welcome Week. I hope that y'all have been able to sit in on some of the other sessions and that they have been worthwhile and you've been able to take away some strategies and tips to help you with your classes this semester. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Amanda. We've got a couple different presenters today to tell you about our new software, PlayPosit, and we also have our company rep from PlayPosit, Emily, who's going to give us lots of details and information on this new software. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Erin. One of the things I wanted to kind of introduce you all is the Kickoff Week. This is a welcome week for PlayPosit as well. This is a product that a lot of you have asked for, something that could create use your videos in a way that you could engage your students, because you've always wanted to ask questions and you've asked, could you have it pause and answer a question? And the biggest thing is, could you make it go to the gradebook? And we've used H5P in the past. That's one product you've heard me talk about. We've talked about Camtasia and some other products. Well, with PlayPosit, we finally have a product that will have the answers go into the gradebook. So I'm going to go ahead and tease that to start today. I will go ahead and mention that this is just the first of several different trainings that we'll have available. Also, Emily and I think Erin, we're all going to have, we have like a little academy videos, we have resources, and we are going to have it set up so that we can share the bulbs and the lessons amongst ourselves. And so we're really going to have a nice space to do a lot of cool things. So I hope you enjoy it. As you have questions, let me know. I'll be in DE office hours beginning at 3 if you want to drop in there with any questions if we can't get them covered now. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Emily, who is, and Angie that are here from PlayPosit, and thank you so much for being willing to take the time today to help us do the kickoff and show what PlayPosit can do.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Amanda and Erin, for that introduction. Let me figure out which window I'm sharing, and then we'll get started. I'm new to Blackboard Collaborate, so sorry if I am slow at any of this. All right. So thank you again just for joining today. We really appreciate that you are taking the time to be here and learn about PlayPosit, and Angie and I are so excited to see what you will do with PlayPosit once you get started. So my name's Emily. I'm one of the account managers / instructional designers here at PlayPosit that supports Central Carolina Community College as well as a number of our other partners. I am a former educator also, so everything education related is very close to my heart, and I'm excited to be working with you all. This is Angie. Angie, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi everyone, I will be in the chat today, so if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them there. I also just posted an interactive handout that I'd love for you to check out.
Thanks, Angie. Yeah, and so if you guys have any questions, we will be covering quite a bit of information today. This is our agenda. Since it is a new product for everyone, it might feel a little bit overwhelming at times, but don't worry, we are here to help with questions, and it's new, and we're here to support you along the way. So as Angie said, she did put this handout in your chat. This handout is just a great resource for you guys as you do get started in using PlayPosit, understanding different use cases. It also includes information like PlayPosit Academy, which you can access here, but as was mentioned, this will actually be included in Blackboard eventually. Also, we'll keep you updated on that. In addition to that, we also have our weekly office hours listed here for you. How these work is that since you guys are all here for an introduction of PlayPosit, you are welcome to join our office hours anytime you ever have any quick questions, maybe you want to brainstorm or something's not working quite right for you. You are always welcome to attend these, and you can just click in and register for them as needed. From there, the rest of this handout is just going to walk you through all of the ins and outs that we're going to show you today, as well as a couple of extra steps and info for anyone that might be interested. So hold on to this and we'll add to it as needed also. All right, well, let's get started officially. So what is PlayPosit? We are an interactive video platform, but how we work is a little bit different from other video platforms, interactive video platforms, because how we work is we actually sit in between the video host and the viewer. What I mean by that is that once you have your video that you'd like to create an interactive video out of, all of the questions, interactions, engagement that you're going to add to your video is actually going to sit on top of it like a layer. So I mentioned this to you because this makes it really easy for you. If you ever realize, oh no, my video is outdated, or I need to switch a question, or something was incorrect, you can always change anything you need to and never have to start completely from scratch. You can make copies, you can do what you need to do to save you time, but we are a company that was founded by educators, and we really are for educators, so everything that we do, want to make sure it's as easy as possible. So our product is called a bulb. You can think about it as a light bulb, but what a bulb is our term for interactive video. So once you pull your video into PlayPosit, add your interactions to it, your final product is going to be called a bulb. You can think about it as a light bulb, something that really allows you to shine a light into your students' minds and understand how they're digesting content. That's the biggest goal. All right, so we thought it would be fun to have you guys be the learner to start. What we'd like you to do is try this sample bulb. It is very short, it's about a minute long. Not everyone has to participate, but if you do, I'm gonna have a lot of great data to highlight for all of you. So when you click on the link that's in your handout or in the chat, it will ask you for your first and your last name. Feel free to enter your real name or a fictional character. It is totally up to you. I will mute myself. Hopefully everyone else is muted also. And once you do start taking it, feel free to just enjoy those interactions, and we'll regroup in about a couple minutes to see how everyone's experience went. All right, everyone. So if you did not reach the very end, that is totally okay. So I see the chat is going a little bit. I got booted out. We can take a closer look at what is happening, and we will talk about why that capital. Actually, we'll take a look at what's happening here. But regardless, if you move back over to the my presentation, what you are seeing here is a collection of all of the data that was collected in that short bulb that you guys just took. So just as a quick overview, we can always have a follow-up session to take an even closer look at the monitoring screen. But just at a glance, this is all of the information that you are going to have access to, plus a little bit more when you use PlayPosit. So first, you'll be able to see a list of your learners' names. You'll be able to see their scores at first, their status, whether they're in progress, still complete, or haven't started at all. From there, you will have all of their responses available to you at a glance. All right, you can actually click into any of these responses also. So if you want to see things like how long your learners were engaged for a specific, you can, or sorry, a specific question, you can. As you'll see here, I did include a free response interaction in this bulb. Free response is one of our interactions that is not going to be automatically graded. That's why it's indicated as yellow on this monitor screen. However, we do have ways that you can go about grading and assessing these free response questions quickly, whether you want to click into each cell and then provide credit, you can, or we also include some great views like our Grade All mode. Grade All is going to show you all of your learners, all of those responses, all in one place, and gives you a way to quickly go through and assess each one of your learners' responses. Any changes you make, you can simply save, and that will then be updated on this main screen. I have a ton I could show you here, but again, it might be best to have a follow-up session. You'll see different bulb analytics. You have even interaction analytics, so you can see how your class performed on a specific interaction and take that to then adjust your teaching moving forward. Last thing I will mention for now is our data export option. Our data export is going to provide you with a CSV file, which will actually show you even more data. It will get as specific as what time and date your learners started their bulb, how long they took on interactions, as well as, here, let me see if I can actually share this file with you all real quick. It's pretty cool. Here we go. All right, so this will show you even more in-depth data showing you your students' scores, time and date that they started, spent on the bulb, how far they reached in the bulb, and a lot more information for you too. So just know that when you're using PlayPosit, there is not going to be any shortage of data for you to see. And a really great benefit of all of this is that rather than having your learners enter their first and their last names when they're going about taking a bulb, all of this is going to be done directly within Blackboard. So as soon as your learners access their assignments in Blackboard, complete their bulbs, all of this data is going to sync to your Blackboard gradebook, which will save you tons of time. All right, so thank you so much for participating. I appreciate that, and you gave us a lot of data to see there. So hopefully that was enjoyable, and we'll keep going. All right, so before I show you how you can actually access PlayPosit in Blackboard, I just wanted to highlight some of the big overarching features and themes that we include within this platform. So as I mentioned before, our platform is one that was founded by educators. Both of our co-founders actually created PlayPosit in their middle school classrooms a decade ago, but we truly are for educators. So everything that we do here at PlayPosit is always going to intertwine one of these three learning relationships, which can definitely be a little bit difficult to maintain when learning is a bit more remote. So just at a glance, here are some of the ways that we do support those relationships. Something that you will see within the platform is that you will have a ton of options on how exactly you'd like learners to engage with interactions and how they'll respond to them. So what you're seeing here is an example of one of our auto-graded fill-in-the-blank tables. Our fill-in-the-blank interaction can be formatted as a table if you'd like, which is pretty awesome. But what you're seeing here is a learner who is going through this table and they actually got it incorrect. However, instead of just getting it incorrect and not knowing why necessarily, this instructor chose to set them up with a jump that jumped them about 10 seconds back in the video so that they got an opportunity to rewatch, understand what happened, and in this scenario, the instructor actually gave them the opportunity to retry the question. So instead, again, of just getting it wrong and not knowing why, students now can have that opportunity to go back and really have that understanding that you can help them with. Those are just a couple of the settings. I'll show you where you can find everything later. All right, another feature that PlayPosit includes is discussion forums. So discussion forums can be structured in a number of different ways. You can include discussion forums that last throughout an entire bulb, discussion forums that maybe last for certain moments within a bulb. It's totally up to you however these are structured. So what you're seeing here are some learners who are engaging in this discussion forum that the instructor set up. As you can see down here, students actually have access to a rich text editor. This simply means that if learners want to enhance their contributions with maybe an image or a diagram or even using the equation editor, they can. Learners will also be able to reply to their peers using this discussion forum and just have that really engaging quality experience with one another, even if their learning is being remote. Don't worry, as the instructor, you will be able to monitor all of this. You'll be able to see exactly how learners are interacting on that discussion forum and engaging with one another. You will be able to moderate things to a certain extent, so you'll be able to delete comments if needed, which might happen sometimes. So you'll be able to delete comments. You can actually reply to your learners also, which is really great. And if you'd like to ever toggle this view by specific learner, you can actually view student by student who exactly is contributing and what they're contributing. You can actually download these discussion forums also. So if you ever want to take the text from that discussion forum to lead your class discussion the next day, feel free to do that too. All right, last feature I want to highlight is one that does enhance that learner to self relationship. This is our learner notepad. So the notepad is an amazing feature because it's actually already included in every single bulb that you'll create. You won't have to add anything else, and students will have access to a notepad that will allow them to take time-stamped notes throughout their bulb. So what you're seeing here is a learner who actually is adding an image to their notes. But as they are going through this video, rather than having to have multiple screens open or taking handwritten notes or whatever it might be, learners can take notes directly in that bulb. These notes are time-stamped, so if your learners decide they want to re-watch that bulb and head to those points that they took notes on, then they can do that really easily. They can download any of these and come back and reference them anytime they'd like also, as long as that bulb is still posted. So I mentioned this to you again because this is already included in every single bulb that's created. So even if you just want to have a lesson that's centered around understanding what students are thinking as they're watching a video, you can simply provide instructions on how to access that notepad and have that be the focus of the lesson. Because you, as the instructor, are going to be able to view all of those notes. As soon as your bulb is linked in Blackboard, you will be able to preview that bulb, head to the notepad, which is exactly how your students will be able to. Once they play the video using the sidebar, they can actually navigate to this notepad, which is what this instructor is doing. And you, at a glance, can see all of those moments that your learners were taking the most notes. So maybe you'll find areas that might need to be reviewed more, or that struck out a lot to students as areas that they needed more practice on. You'll be able to see all of that and even toggle this view by specific learner if you'd like to. If you ever want to download these notes too, you are more than welcome to. An important distinction to make is that for the notepad, learners will not be able to see each other's notes. Only the instructor will be able to view specific learners' notes, unlike that discussion forum. All right, and of course our analytics are a great way to really enhance that instructor to learner experience. We went through that a little bit earlier, but don't worry, on your resource guide, you do have more information about analytics. And as I mentioned, we can also have a follow-up session where we focus more on just the data. All right, so that is my high-level overview of just a couple of the things. It will make more and more sense once we do dive into the platform. But just before we do that, just to get our brains flowing a little bit more, I wanted to mention some use cases and examples of how PlayPosit can be incorporated. One thing to note is that another way that we do enhance these relationships is through how you deploy PlayPosit in Blackboard. Today we will be focusing on our self-paced mode of application, which simply allows learners to take bulbs asynchronously on their own time. For your awareness, PlayPosit does also support other applications, which include our broadcast live response system, which actually allows you to launch a bulb that learners can respond to in real time. It is fantastic if you are having any classes on Blackboard Collaborate. You can even push out questions to make sure that learners are engaged. I'm not going to talk about it today. I do have information on your handout about broadcast if you're interested. But in addition to that, we actually have a webinar next week that Angie and I will be running that focuses solely on using broadcast. So we'll share that information with you also if you are interested in learning more about that mode of delivery. And then last, we do support learner-made bulbs also. Learner-made bulbs flip everything around. So rather than the instructor creating a bulb for learners to create for their assignment, learner-made bulbs allow the student to get access to the PlayPosit designer and submit a bulb for their assignment. These are really fantastic, especially when it comes to education courses, communication courses, any sort of like how-to activities or whatever it might be. There are a ton of applications for that. And again, if you'd like more information on that, you will find that in our resource guide. But also, we are running some more webinars, which Angie did put in the chat. So if you are interested in learning about any of those options, feel free to sign up for those webinars. All right, so PlayPosit can be used in a wide variety of different ways. It's not solely just homework. We have partners that use PlayPosit for pre-work, pre-lab work, any work that's asynchronous solely, any of those opportunities where you want learners to create work. There are a ton of possibilities for what you can do. Now, I don't know exactly what departments all of you are coming from, so I'm just going to show you a couple of examples of how PlayPosit can be used effectively in a couple of different content areas. Once we do that, we will dive into Blackboard and show you exactly where you'll access this. So here is a literature example. Reason I'm showing this to you is because PlayPosit can be used in very simple ways or very advanced ways. Sometimes it just takes a couple of interactions for you to add to create a really comprehensive and meaningful lesson. So this literature example, what the instructor did was they had a poem that they wanted the learners to be listening to and understanding and deciphering. So they took that video of the poem that they found on YouTube. However, using our web embed interaction, the instructor could actually embed a copy of that poem directly into the bulb. So not only are students getting that opportunity to listen, they are also getting that opportunity to read through and use direct phrases from that poem to insert into their discussion forum. So just with adding two interactions, this created a totally different, more meaningful experience with learners. All right, we do have a number of instructors that use us for their STEM courses, their pre-lab work, things like once you have any lecture recordings or even some supplemental materials, again, you can feel free to add however many interactions, whatever sort of variety you'd like to really make sure that this experience for your learners is engaging and that they truly are understanding the content. So through the use of a couple of free response interactions, a multiple choice checkpoint, even a pause at the beginning that gives students instructions and lists objectives for them for that lesson, they get a more meaningful experience. Again, using that web embed interaction to embed whatever materials you need to directly into that bulb. All right, I'm going to skip through a couple of these because I do want us to get right in to Blackboard. But one cool thing here to show you is that, again, no limit on how many interactions you can add. Feel free to add whatever sort of combinations you'd like. Something that I'm going to show you today are our templates that we offer. So if you ever are interested in creating things like an auto-graded fill-in-the-blank table, but maybe don't have a lot of time to do that, I'll highlight our templates for you today so that you can see how you can create a really engaging, awesome experience for your learners very quickly. All right, and I think I'm officially going to stop with my examples for right now. But all of those examples and a couple more are included on your resource guide. So feel free to reference those, and if you're not seeing your content area on there and you'd like some more ideas, feel free to reach out to Angie and I, and we're always happy to point you in the right direction or share some examples with you too. All right, so now is the fun part where we will actually access PlayPosit in Blackboard. So there are a lot of advantages of using PlayPosit in Blackboard. One of those is that your account is going to be established, your PlayPosit account is going to be established as soon as you access PlayPosit in Blackboard. So no need to create another account or anything like that. That it will all just be a seamless integration. That goes for your learners also. When using PlayPosit this semester and moving forward, you are not going to, your students are not going to have to create separate accounts or anything like that. Their name and account will be recognized as soon as they start taking bulbs for your course. So I'm going to switch over to Blackboard now. And just a warning, right before this session, our Blackboard site was not working. So it seems to be working now, but if it gets a little glitchy, that might be why. But don't worry, I do have all of your instructions here on your checklist too, so you can actually try this after the session also. All right, so your first step when you are in Blackboard is going to be heading to the course that you would like to use PlayPosit in. Oh, and this is our Teams testing environment, so it looks a little crazy, so sorry in advance. Oh, yay! And Amanda just said PlayPosit is live in Blackboard today. Very exciting. All right, so go ahead and find a course that you'd like to use PlayPosit in. I think this one generally works for me, so I'm going to go with that one. And once you are in there, we're going to go ahead and just head to a content area. Once you are in there, you will either select Build Content or Tools to then find PlayPosit. So let me think. I think in ours it is Build Content. So let me find the one that tends to work. And yeah, again, Teams testing environment, so it really isn't a great place to be right now. Let me find this real quick. Sorry for the delay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Amanda did just verify that it will be under Build Content. Did I pass it? Oh, this one. I don't think that one works. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, PlayPosit, deep linking. Okay, here we go. Found it. All right, so as soon as you click into PlayPosit, it's going to direct you to this page where you're actually going to set up your assignment. So you are going to click onto Set Link or Enter PlayPosit to enter your account. Both options will take you to the same place, so choose your preference there. Once you enter PlayPosit, it is going to take you to the My Bulbs area. This is where you are going to go. So officially you're in your account. This is where you're going to go when you're ready to add new bulbs, if people have shared bulbs with you, if you've copied bulbs from one of our shared media repositories. All of those will be housed here. And before I jump into the designer, I just want to highlight two areas for you. One of those areas is going to be your user profile. This is going to be a great place to go if you want to set up certain defaults for your bulbs, so like a privacy level, how many points you'd like interactions to be worth. So just know that that's where your user profile is. And the other place I want to highlight for you is this pre-made bulbs library. So pre-made bulbs is going to be a really great place for you to go, especially as you are just starting to use PlayPosit. Maybe you want to brainstorm a little bit, because what you are going to see in this area is going to be a Central Carolina Media Library. This is only going to be available for your college. So if you ever want to share bulbs with your colleagues across departments, with the rest of the school, you can. I'll show you where you can find that privacy level to then share your content in here. This is a great place to go if you want to, again, share your content. You can preview any of the bulbs in here, export worksheets of the bulbs, or even copy them for use in your own courses. If you make copies, you can even make edits on that copy. So just know that this is a great place to go, especially for different collaboration needs. This other side is going to be the All of PlayPosit library. This one is actually open to all of our partners. Any PlayPosit user can contribute to this library, but can also go through this library, search it, and there's over 1 million bulbs in here, so sometimes it will take a little while for it to load. But once you're in here, feel free to search this library by different keywords, tags, even if there's a YouTube video you want to see if other people have used, feel free to use that library also. And same thing as the other one, feel free to preview, export, or copy any of those bulbs too. All right, so let's actually go into the designer and build a quick bulb together. Once you're ready, go ahead and just click on Add New Bulb. And once you do that, it will open you up into a new tab, which is our PlayPosit Designer. You can click anywhere to actually enter the designer. And once you are in here, you will have a couple of different options on what sort of videos that you can actually use. So first step in creating bulbs is selecting the video that you want. My Videos is going to store any bulbs that any videos that you've used to create previously. Input URL is great if you have a Vimeo or a YouTube link that you're just ready to pull in, and just select input URL and you can paste that URL right in. You can upload MP3, and you can also search Vimeo or YouTube directly from here. Upload video and record are not currently available options just because those are a separate add-on. So if you click one of those, we'll let you know that it's not available. But go ahead and just use YouTube or Vimeo as needed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just search YouTube real quick and find a video for us to use. All right, and once you have selected your video, a couple of steps to just finalize the content of that video. So if you click on Customize, it will take you to our captioning area. Captions that are already associated with videos are going to be pulled in automatically. So you don't have to take any extra steps. You don't have to upload anything, none of that. But if you know that you do have separate caption files that you would like to have uploaded, then you can definitely use our caption uploader to add those. Customize is going to take you to our trimming and cropping area. So PlayPosit is not a video editor because we function as an overlay on top of videos. However, if you click on trim and crop, you can do things like trim off the edges or even add internal crops as needed. So just know that those options are there. Again, not a video editor, but you can do these light editing things for the bulb itself. Alrighty, so I do see a couple of questions happening in here. There is no limit on how long a bulb can or cannot be. You can make them as long as you'd like to. And if there are a couple of videos that you'd like to include in a single bulb, you can do that. To do that, you'll just follow those same steps I just showed you. Click on Add Video, and from there, choose your video source and proceed. A great thing too to add is that once your bulb is linked in Blackboard, your learners will be able to access it and work on it as long as that assignment stays open. So let's say you have a bulb that's maybe an hour long, and you might be a little concerned that learners might not watch the whole thing in one sitting. That is totally okay, because in Blackboard, once they start their assignment, they'll be able to pick up on it where they left off. Alrighty, so next thing here is just going to show you the different types of interactions as well as our templates, and we are flying through the time here. So when you click on add an interaction, these are all of the different question types that you can add to your bulbs. So feel free to include whatever sort of variety that you'd like to. You can include multiple choice, check all, free response, fill in the blank, poll, and discussion. Out of all of those, the only one that is not going to be auto-graded is going to be our free response interaction. I mentioned that one a little bit earlier, but the reason for that is that we like leaving that up to the instructors to actually determine if learners should earn credit for those responses or not. For our discussion forums, if you are interested in using those, there is an option to have discussion forum contributions be auto-graded or manually graded. It is up to you. So know that those are your options there. Pauses are fantastic to use if you are looking to add some lesson objectives to the beginning, or maybe there's just certain parts of the video that you'd really like to highlight for your learners. Pauses are great for that. You can also embed websites directly into PlayPosit. So if there is some sort of supplemental website or even like a published document that you'd like to include in your bulb, feel free to use our web embed for that. And last, you will see a couple of interaction templates down here. So these interaction templates are based off of a single interaction, and it just adds some quick interactions for you. So for instance, our vocab matching, functions table, and place in order are all centered around our auto-graded fill in the blank interaction. If you decide you want to add any of those, feel free to just click into them and we will show you this format that is ready for you to change and customize as needed. So I assume you probably wouldn't want to use these definitions and terms, but you can go in and customize anything however you'd like. You can adjust this table as much as you would like to also. So that is one example. And just like that, we've already added an interaction. Next thing I want to show you guys, especially since this is just a new introductory session for us, is our template gallery. So you can get to our template gallery by just clicking on Open Template Gallery up here at the top. Once you do that, this is going to take you to a number of different interaction sets that our team has created for you to add quick, effective engagement to your bulb. So what you'll see here are templates like our learner feedback template. Definitely recommend trying this one, especially since PlayPosit is going to be new for everyone. When you click apply on any of these templates, we will place them directly in your bulb for you. Oh, and I do see a question about adjusting timing, so that's perfect. If you ever wanted to adjust timing on any of the interactions that you've added, you can do that. Just click into the timing section of the interaction, which you can do at the very beginning, going through placement and timing, and you can adjust exactly where it appears if you realize it needs to be adjusted a little bit. All right, but our learner feedback template. We will insert language for you. If you ever want to tweak any of this, you can. You can totally customize these templates and the settings on them however you'd like. But again, this might be a great one for you guys to use, especially in this first semester of using PlayPosit, just to gauge how your learners are feeling about this sort of lesson. All right, so from there, we also have a learner notes template. As I mentioned earlier, learner notes are already included in every single bulb. What this template is going to do is it's simply going to direct your learner's attention to the notepad so that if you want to make sure that they know it's there, or if you just want the focus of your lesson to be centered around notes, feel free to add that template and make changes as needed. We have a discussion template. This one will add a discussion that will last throughout the entire bulb so that at any point learners will be able to comment. We also give some quick prompts so that if you want to stick with these generic prompts that we provide, you can. But of course, if you want to customize this at all, you can also. All right, our last couple of templates here are just some more assessment-based. So we have a pre and post assessment that gauges student understanding at the beginning of the bulb and one at the end of the bulb. We have a summative assessment that will add 4 multiple choice questions towards the end of your bulb, so learners will be able to just have a moment to reflect on the topics that were discussed. And then last is our Check for Understanding template. This one is our team's favorite because what this one does is it disperses interactions between the beginning, the middle, and the end of the bulb. So it disperses engagement for you, so you don't have to do that. And it also will ask learners some really meaningful questions just to gauge their understanding of the bulb. So we'll start with using evidence or examples. Explain what you already know. Halfway through the bulb, we'll include a midway checkpoint asking if it is making sense and asking them to summarize. And then at the very end, we will place a couple of interactions asking learners to explain and if they feel confident. So, as I mentioned, this is a great way to disperse interactivity and also gives your learners an opportunity to reflect, as well as gives you a ton of insight into how they are understanding. I have to cough real quick, 1 second. Okay, sorry. So next thing I want to show you, oh, and actually, I know we had this scheduled until, well, 12:45 my time. Is it okay if I go over just a little bit, Amanda? Okay, cool, okay. Well, let's keep going. All right, yeah, if anyone has to leave, this is being recorded, so don't worry. Last thing I do want to show you in here is just what it looks like to actually build your own interaction, because I'm sure a lot of you will be ready to start doing that. So once you are ready to add your own interactions, what you will do is you can either play the video from the beginning and just pause it at the points that you'd like to add interactions, or using this scrub bar down here, you can actually go to the point that you'd like to add your question and click on Add an Interaction. You'll notice that when you move that scrub bar, we will update that timestamp for you, so you'll see exactly where it's being placed. All right, I'm going to add a very quick, easy multiple choice question, and then we'll wrap this up. What month is it? Okay, so as you can see, as soon as I started typing, this rich text editor appeared. This rich text editor is going to be a very powerful tool for you if you ever want to enhance any part of your interactions. That includes doing things like attaching files that your students can download, adding an additional audio, inserting an image, using our equation editor, as well as a number of other formatting options. From there, you will have more options. You'll see you have a ton of options for customizing in PlayPosit, but you will have more up here for you to use as well. All right, as a reminder, you don't have to make things super advanced. You can make things very simple. So I'll just add a couple of responses. March and January. Okay, and if you are hoping to just keep things a little bit more simple, you can just select the correct answer and you can leave things at that. I do want to make sure that you are aware where other options are housed. So for instance, if you ever want to add feedback for a certain response, you can click on that settings here and add feedback based on how your learners responded. So if they get something incorrect and they need to see that diagram again, you can actually use that rich text editor to insert an image in your feedback directly to enhance students' learning. You can also add jumps based on certain responses. If you'd like to try that out, feel free. And then last, you will also have this advanced section where you can apply a number of different settings to that specific interaction. I do have more information on that in your handout also. You will see when you are building a bulb, some step-by-step instructions on those different advanced settings and everything you need to know there. But I definitely encourage you to just start by playing around and feeling out the platform at first. You can choose where interactions appear. By default, they'll appear in the sidebar, but you can also have them appear over the screen if you'd like to. And you can choose the exact placement of that. And then last is that timing area, which we mentioned already. But if you ever need to adjust timing at all, feel free to go here. You can adjust the timing of that interaction as needed. Alrighty, so we just created an interaction and we created a pretty full bulb right here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, I encourage you later today or whenever you have time to just follow these instructions for accessing PlayPosit and just try creating something for fun at first to feel out the platform and understand how it really works. But your last step is going to be this review tab. So in this review tab, you can adjust things like the title, thumbnail image. You can use our tagging system in talking to Amanda and the rest of the admin team. When talking about tags, something that we thought would be really helpful, especially as the whole college starts rolling out PlayPosit and using it, is going to be using our tags to maybe use the prefix of your course to create a tag. That way, all of the content is very organized and clean, and everyone will, well, not everyone, and we'll be able to see exactly how and where PlayPosit is being used. So to create a tag, you can just start typing and press enter, and it'll create a tag for you. From there, you do have some playback options, so you can choose any of these options that will apply to the entire bulb. So if you always want learners to rewind after they reach interactions, you can apply that to everything. If you want them to skip, fast forward, you can even allow learners to retake bulbs. It will give you one warning about retakes, is that if you do allow retakes on a whole bulb, then it's going to actually archive learners' previous responses, which you'll be able to view. But when it comes to what gets pushed to the gradebook, we're going to push their most recent responses, not necessarily their best score. So if you're hoping to give your learners that opportunity to retry until correct, you can always allow multiple attempts on individual interactions so that they do get those opportunities without having to redo the entire thing. So that's my one plug about that. You can allow learners to print out reports of bulbs, which will show them all of their responses and all of the interactions. And then last, you can always allow learners to increase playback speed or not. What I mean by that is, just like YouTube, learners can speed up the video or slow down the video. If you do not want them being able to speed up the video, maybe it is important that they are counted for certain credit hours, then you can always disable this option also. All right, very last is these privacy settings. Privacy settings will determine where your bulb gets shared. So if you'd like your bulb to get shared in the public all of PlayPosit media library, which any PlayPosit user could access and then use in their own course, you can choose this bulb is public option. If you would like your bulb to be shared with the rest of the Central Carolina Community Library, then you can choose this option to make bulbs visible for your institution, and that will make it viewable and copyable, but only by colleagues of yours at Central Carolina, not any other PlayPosit users. These two are interchangeable, so don't worry about this one. And then if you would prefer your bulbs to stay private for you and your learners and maybe people that you choose to share them with, you can also make your bulbs private. So it's totally up to you how any of this is structured. And you can also, in your user profile, set some defaults for your preferred settings. All right, and I see some questions. I will get to those in just a moment. Let me wrap this up real quick. I love all these questions. All right, last thing, once you save any changes, you can always preview your bulbs. I do recommend doing that just to make sure that settings look just right. You can always preview as an instructor or as a learner if you do want to see that true experience. And woohoo, here's the bulb we created. Once everything looks good for you, go ahead and just save this. It'll give you this blue screen telling you to return to Blackboard. And once you're in there, the bulb that you just created is now at the top of your list. So the last thing we have to do is just finish linking this. To finish linking your bulb into Blackboard, all you have to do is click on that Blackboard icon that's right next to the title of your bulb. When you do that, you can choose the learner experience, which in this case will be self-paced. We will click on link, and once your bulb is linked, you will now fun here. Okay, you'll now see your linked bulb available for your learners. So here you go. This gray screen is actually a good sign. This is what's going to allow you to download analytics on this bulb, preview the bulb, and also head to that monitor screen that we spent some time in earlier today. Don't worry, your students are not going to see this screen. When they actually head to that assignment in Blackboard, they are just going to see the bulb itself. So they can start engaging with it right on the spot. They don't need to log in or anything like that. And it'll be a very seamless experience for them. And thinking about monitoring, if your learners, or if you ever need to adjust any scores in this monitor screen, then you can go in, adjust anything, and you'll have the sync grades button. So that way, if you do need to make adjustments, or maybe the whole class responded to something a certain way and you needed to give credit for it, you can make any changes, and then once you press sync grades, that will sync directly to your Blackboard gradebook. And that is the whole process. So let me jump over to these questions real quick, and then we'll wrap up. And thank you so much for your attention today. I appreciate it. All right, can they watch the entire video independent of the questions before or after they complete bulb questions? So once a learner goes through an entire bulb, as long as that assignment is still open and available in Blackboard, learners will be able to re-watch that whole video and review their previous answers without responding to things over again. So they'll be able to still access it and go through and watch once they've completed it once. I hope that answers it. I will email you guys the document and all of the resources. And as far as Notepad, yes, students are going to be able to download their Notepad, which they can then save or print as needed. So yes, 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 they can. All right, very last thing to show you is just one quick common thing that tends to happen sometimes as your learners do start getting using PlayPosit, is that in order for learners' grades to sync automatically to the Blackboard gradebook, they do need to reach the very end of the bulb, which will show them this complete screen. This indicates that they've reached the end, their scores have synced. Sometimes in the gradebook, you might see that learners maybe have answered everything, but they didn't reach the very end, which means they aren't marked as complete. We have a great student experience article that is listed in here somewhere, right here. This is fantastic to share with your learners before you start using PlayPosit. And I actually just created a really great student experience bulb that I will share with you guys. So if you do want to actually use that bulb for your learners, maybe as like a first week assignment or something, then you'll be able to do that also. But I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, I went over time and now I know we're really close to the end here. So if anyone else has any other questions, I do have a couple of minutes. Oh yes, we do support course copy with Blackboard. So once you do all of the linking for this semester, if you want to reuse it all next semester, you can use course copy and we will preserve all of those bulb links for you so you won't have to go through that whole process again.
Emily, I did have one question. Just I know that we had covered it, but when we've talked about like the limits of how many bulbs you can create or the what students can create, are there going to be any limits on the size or how many assignments they can have or use based off what we've paid for as a service?
Oh no, you guys have unlimited use. So use PlayPosit however you'd like. If you'd like to use learner-made bulbs as a lot of your assignments, feel free. And yeah, use it, create as much as you want to and use it as much as you want to also. Some people, even in like simpler ways, which I don't always encourage this because there's a lot more you can do. Sometimes you can even just pull in a video if you want to make sure your students are watching that video. You can just pull that video into PlayPosit and not even add interactions just to make sure that your learners are watching all of it. So it can be used very simply.
Hi, I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
If I'm teaching my students how to do something, there's like a pause in it. Like, can I say like, okay, pause here and go, and practice it and then come back and answer this question? Is that like a useful thing to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can use that pause interaction if you want to. Give whatever sort of instructions, and as you saw with the other interactions, when you add any interaction, you'll have that rich text editor. So if you do want to give like even link a certain website or use the web embed or just give instructions on whatever students need to do, feel free to do that. That's a great question.
I had one more question for that. Because I'm a radio teacher, if at the end of this they have a finished recording, can they upload that recording to this PlayPosit assignment?
So I have workarounds for that.
I mean, I could just do another assignment in Blackboard, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I was just curious if I could keep it all.
So you could. This would stray into our advanced features, because if, let's say, students did have a recorded video, since you guys don't have the upload option, students could put their video into YouTube or Vimeo as unlisted or private. And then they could actually use our source code option in the rich text editor, which if you ever wanted to come for office hours, or even I can follow up with you with exact instructions on how to do that, it would be possible for students to just link or embed that right in.
Okay.
But I don't want to overwhelm everyone right now.
That's totally fine. I'm going to teach myself how to use this first, and then I'll move into that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, of course. All right. Can we pull in videos using a link to our Google Drive into a bulb? No, not currently. Right now it would have to be on YouTube as unlisted or public, or Vimeo as private if you want to. We are working on a Screencastify integration currently. I don't know if that's something that you guys use, but as that gets finalized, I can work with the admin team to see if that might be an option for you all.
I definitely just want to thank you for coming today, and I know that this was a lot of information for everybody, but one of the important things that I hope everyone takes out of this is that you have, lots of options, and this isn't something you have to use, but based off of the feedback I received since spring, and we've gone virtual even from before, I think this is something that this year will be really our pilot and our chance to see if we like it. And if we're creative, I have some ideas of how we might be able to sustain this after this year, but it's really going to be up to you all. If you like it, we'll look to keep it. If not, then we'll look at options. But we're really excited to have Emily and Angie, and thank you again. Send Angie our huge thanks. It's been great, and we'll probably be seeing each other in office hours and other places like that as we're all learning PlayPosit. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for attending. I am so excited to see how you start using it, if you choose to, which hopefully you do.
I will be heading over into DE office hours if anyone wants to drop in. I'll put the link in the chat real quick, and I think for those of you that need to run, feel free, and we'll make sure that you all get links to today's session. I've already talked with Erin, and she's already on it, so she's rocking it today. So thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks. I'm gonna hop off, but I'll follow up with you guys and send some resources too.
Thank you.